Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and I'm an indie game developer working on an open-world pixel art RPG codenamed Project Salvation, where you command a party of complex characters with rich backstories and dark secrets to explore distant lands in an open world and decide the fate of the realm in the twilight days of a falling empire. The story will carry you from glittering palaces woven into the canopies of titanic trees to the frozen caverns of a prison at the edge of the world. You'll soar among flying mountains ruled by dragon riders and stalk through criminal cities built inside the bones of a long-dead titan. Project Salvation will ask you to choose which king deserves the throne and which traitor deserves the axe. You'll uncover 5 characters and their desperate struggles to find purpose and redemption as they try to escape the shadows of their past. But before we get to the end of the story, we have to start at the beginning. My friends and I at Whalestag have set a huge goal for ourselves. We will complete the prologue by the end of May. And let me tell you, this is a major leap forward for our project. Not only will it mark a critical milestone for the story, but the prologue itself is massive. From the second you press start, you'll meet 6 characters, explore 3 major locations and their surrounding areas, and dive into a dozen main and side quests. Sounds like a lot for just a prologue, right? Well, that's because we're trying to tell a story worth your time. And that means setting the scene properly, letting it breathe, and letting you live in it. Of course, building a prologue like this isn't something you crank out overnight. It takes weeks, or months in our case, of work. Thankfully, we already put in 8 months of groundwork. And now, it's time to bring it all to life. And here's how we plan to do it. First, a quick intro to the team at Whalestag. There's 5 of us. Hunter, our programmer, Haley, our environmental designer, Michaela, our lead writer, Jimmy, our composer, and me, Jack, artist, level designer, and the game master to this group of hooligans. Each of us has set clear goals to reach the finish line. To organize it all, we're using something called the 30-60-90% project structure, which is super common in engineering and construction. Just to break it down real quick, when we say a project is 30% done, we mean that the initial concept has been created and foundational work has been completed. 60% means all the major components have been added, and the meat of the task is there. 90% is when the finishing touches, the little details that turn something from functional to beautiful, get sprinkled in. And the final 10%, that's reserved for critiques and polish. Every time one of us reaches one of the milestones with our task, we send it to the others for review to make sure everything is good. For example, are we using a good color palette and architectural style for the level design? Do we have an acceptable layout for the dungeon that will allow players to choose how they want to approach an encounter? Is the song the right vibe? You get the idea. And hey, if you're an indie dev yourself, feel free to steal this structure. It's done wonders for us. Maybe it'll do the same for you. Now that you know the system, let's dive into what each of us has promised to deliver. Let's start with me, since I'm already here. My goals as the artist and main level designer are to draw all portraits for the 5 player characters, plus 1 of the main antagonists. Design 3 major locations: the Elven Palace of Renasiren, the frozen prison of Containment Site 3, and the bustling coastal town of Merlin. Merlin's gonna be fun. It includes neighboring farms, a busy harbor, and a lush forest, each packed with quests. If you watched our other videos, then you've already seen part of it. I'm also planning to create any extra art assets we need. Trees, sidewalks, pathways, the little stuff that brings a world to life. And to build a custom sprite creator. This one is my stretch goal, I'll admit. Instead of animating every sprite by hand, I'm designing a system using modular sprite sheets. Bodies, heads, eyes, hair, weapons, clothing, you name it. If it works like I hope it will, it'll be an absolute game changer for us. Now let's move on to Hunter. Hunter's handling programming. He's the one turning all our dreams and spreadsheets into a living, breathing game. His goals are to implement character animations for different dialogue options, add lighting to all our scenes, bring in ambient sounds and music to fill the world with life, and flesh out the combat system and brainstorm new ways to make turn-based battles feel fresh and exciting. Haley is the magician behind environmental design. She works alongside me to create the macro structure, but her specialty is making the world feel alive and worth exploring. For example, Haley is in charge of creating the prison break level for Containment Site 3. Her goal is to give you, the player, a few options on how to take out the bad guys. Do you want to assassinate them, blow them up, turn on a machine that creates a hole in the ice and traps them? Or do you just want to sneak past them, hoping they don't notice you? All of that is Haley's domain. So her goals are to analyze the list of 400 abilities we plan to have for the game, and combine and cut the ones that need pruning. Get a select set of unique abilities for each player and build compounding puzzles that make the player think in multiple stages. And finally, design Containment Site 3's Prison Break. Michaela, or Mick, is our lead writer and absolute organizational powerhouse. Seriously, she'll probably have completed her tasks before the rest of us even wake up. Her goals are to expand the main story by integrating main and side quest checkpoints, write dialogue for characters across all 3 major locations, create lively NPC chatter for every area, write the introduction scene for one of our major antagonists, and craft collectible lore entries, things like diaries, history books, and lost relics to deepen the world. Last, but absolutely not least, is Jimmy, our composer. He's been working so hard I couldn't even catch him for an update before making this video. I assume he's alive, but I have no idea. Jimmy's goals are to compose one full combat track and flesh out exploration music for Merwin to really bring the town to life. If we pull this off by the end of the month, we're planning a good old-fashioned celebration. Just a bunch of friends hanging out and playing games together. That's the real magic of Whalestag. We're not just co-workers, we're best friends. This is a stupidly big dream for a stupidly small team, but every line of code, every piece of art, and every rough night, it's getting us closer. Thanks for being a part of it.